your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, Old Man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on, automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac and never feel powerless.
When you're ready,
How can we help?
help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with
Freedom Train.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save, this land of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, say, just that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free. In the home of the
Welcome, race fans, men and women, boys and girls of all ages, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Cup race, live on All Pro Broadcasting here at the Kansas Speedway. Welcoming in the booth tonight is a special friend, talented voice on radio, Ray Richer. How you doing tonight, Ray?
Not too bad, sir. I wouldn't go that far, but thank you very much for the compliment. And we are in for some nice racing this evening.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, Ray, I promised these drivers a week or two back. I told them the snow is gone in the south and the grip is gone in the racing. This track has got not a lot of grip in it. The track temperature I think I saw was up to 112. The air temperature is about 83. So these drivers tonight are really going to have a lot of patience and manhandle their cars to get a good finish. And all these guys want a good finish. We've had a lot of practice out here. And this is going to make for an exciting show for all the fans tonight. This is the POWERTEK Power Solutions 200, the Top Shelf Cup League. POWERTEK Power Solutions, they're out of Richfield, Connecticut. I will talk much more about them during the broadcast. Next thing we want to do is talk about our standings real quick. We're going to have our standings put up. And we've got an exciting points chase right now in all three of our series, Ray, but especially here in the Top Shelf Cup Series. In first position in our point standings, we have Ryan A. Hill. He has 223 points. Jason Jacoby is close behind him in second. Tanner Talrico is in third. All three of those drivers, Ray, have got a win already, which means no matter where they are, come chase time, they will be locked into the chase. Curtis Young, who does not have a win yet, he is in fourth position in the points. David Washington has 2 wins. He's in fifth. Behind him, we have Mitchell Reeves in sixth. Mike Franklin is all the way up to seventh. He's having a great year. Jack Watts is in eighth. Brandon Cruz is in ninth. And we have rounding out the top 10, Ryan Matthews in 10th. Of those drivers, Ray, which one do you think can maybe get their first win tonight or add another win to the win column?
You know, I've always gone with one of the veterans of the Domino's Racing League of Curtis Young, because I've always been impressed with his driving. Champion of a truck series. Very, very good talent. I see he's got no wins. He's got 6 races, 4th in points, as we discussed before. But it seems like completion of laps is what puts you to the top here, of course, because right now Ryan A. Hill has got 801 laps completed out of 6 races, and that seems to be almost anybody on the list. Beats Tanner Tallarico with 800 laps, also 6 races, who is in 3rd. But my money right now, Curtis Young. I've been watching these guys practice this evening. Curtis seems to be a pretty good job, and it looks right now, I mean, he's only 11th in the qualifying time.
Yes, sir. We've got a lot of drivers in the field tonight that are excellent drivers. They know how to drive patiently. They know how to attack when they need to attack. And tonight, among all other factors, you're going to have strategy, and you're going to have to be patient with the car, because this track is definitely pretty slick.
Well, the way I look at it is this. About a week and a half ago, iRacing came out with dirt. Well, tonight, it's high-speed asphalt dirt. I took a test drive earlier on this track with the setup and the settings that we've got this evening, of course. With a hot track, it almost feels like you're driving on ice. All 4 tires slick, easily getting into a 4-wheel slide here, no matter what corner you're on. 6 laps is about it before these tires start to go out on you. Turn 2 wall is going to see a lot of dinging tonight, I think.
Yes, that will be very exciting. Turn 2 is going to see a lot of action. I did some practice with these guys in final practice, and getting loose coming off of Turn 2 is going to be a challenge for most drivers. The wall is going to be there here at Kansas. The drivers are going to be running the high groove pretty much all night long, except maybe when they have fresh rubber on the car. So it's going to be very exciting. And right now I'm going to bring in the booth Ray, driver number 14, James Ross. James, this is Robert and Ray in the broadcast booth. How you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing, Robert?
Very good. Just wanted to give you a minute to tell us all about the sponsor for the race tonight, POWERTEK Power Solutions.
Oh, sure. POWERTEK Power Solutions. We do emergency standby generators and emergency power systems all throughout Westchester County, New York, Putnam County, New York, and particularly Fairfield County, Connecticut. So we can service all your, we do all sales, service, installation, whether your installation be residential, commercial. We also do marine generators, portable generators, industrial generators, and construction site generators.
Wow, it definitely sounds like y'all cover everything you could ever need as far as that goes. How long have you been doing that?
I've been in the field with generators since 2004. Actually founded POWERTEK in 2006 after a little bit of a disagreement with the people I was working with and how they handled people. And we like to bring a different level of customer service. Our customers are all on a first name basis with all our technicians. They know the technician that's coming to their home. And that's just the way we like to do things.
Well, hey, I really appreciate it. We're very excited you've come on board to sponsor quite a few races this year. And we wish you all the luck tonight. Hopefully you pull it off in victory lane, if not a top 3 finish.
Yeah, tonight I'm just looking to finish, period. This place is tough.
Yes, sir, I know what you mean. We'll let you go now. Good luck. All right, Ray, if you want to go ahead and start with the starting lineup. Actually, I will do after the top 20.
That's absolutely fine, sir. Starting on the pole this evening, we have the 98 of David Washington with a time of 30.007 seconds. Outside of him on the front row, the 20 of Colin Bowden. Inside second row, Josh Bonwell, winner of the Xfinity race last Thursday in Domino's TYJ in the 56. Outside of him will be the 32 of Dustin Lee. Now, fifth position will be the number 1 of Jason Jacoby. Sixth position will be the 42 of Tanner Tallarico. In the 7th position, Bud Moore in the 11th, who is fastest in practice at 30.248. Qualified with a 30.102. Outside of him, the 17 of Gary Sexton, a Domino's TYJ Racing League veteran. Kyle Kramer will take the 9th spot in 88. 10th spot, outside of him goes to Shane Paris in the 81. The 11th spot will be Ryan Matthews in the 51. Outside of him, Tim B. Cox in the 19. Next row back inside, the 43 of Doug Ross starting 13th position. 14th position, the number 12 of William Roberts Jr. 15th position, the 97 of Jesse Abram. Curtis Young, my pick tonight, and hope to get up through the field. Will start in the 16th position in the 94 machine. Jeffrey Ford in the 95 will start in the 17th position. Raymond Vasquez in the 72 will be in the 18th spot. And with no qualifying times from here on out, the 19th spot will go to Damon Gilbert in the 68 and Ryan A. Hill in the 55 in the 20th place.
Yes, the following drivers, like you said, did not take a qualifying time. So in 21st, we have Jason Cardwell, brand new to our Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Series. Justin Faulkner will be in 22nd. Mark Jackson will be rolling off 23rd. Brandon Cruz 24th. 26th, we have Jack Watts, followed by Kyle Charpentier 27th. William Davis in 28th. George Hendricks 29th. Nick Reynolds 30th. James Lehman 31st. James Ross, just talked to him, he'll be 32nd. Ellery Queen, otherwise known as Jay Queen, 33rd. This is his first top shelf race this year. He's a veteran driver. He races in the Xfinity Series. 34th, Jeff Martin, and 35th, Jeremy Crandall.
Not a bad idea not to qualify. Of course, it's going to be slick at the beginning. It's going to be slick the whole race, I should say. Pace car lights seem to be off. We'll be going green this time. The guys in the back are going to take their time, kind of let the guys up front who are a little bit aggressive burn their stuff up. And, well, we'll see what happens when things kind of get underway.
Yes, I'll let you take this start, and we'll see how these racers run tonight.
Pace car is off the track. Starter discretion. Green is in the air. David Washington is off, and he takes a low line right off the bat. Heads towards turn 1. Has got a 3-car lead, extending that as we go into turn 1. Turn 2 continues that lead with at least 6 cars between him and the 20 of Colin Bowden. We got a car spin already. The 32 of Dustin Lee, cautions out, tap the wall off of 2.
Yes, we'll get that caution, that replay pulled up real quick. And we'll see exactly what happened to Dustin Lee there on the start. Looks like it did. Go ahead. Did look like it collected a few other vehicles as well. What did you see, Ray?
What I seen, basically what we talked about in the beginning, tires are going to scrub off here quick, but obviously you got to take your time with that. Looks like you got just a little aggressive coming out of 2, tapped the wall, and unfortunately turned it sideways at the time, collecting the number 1 of Jason Jacoby, and it looks like the 42 of Tanner Tellerico as well.
Yes, fortunately, those two, and it looks like a couple other vehicles got caught up in that. Very, very unfortunate for the first lap of the race. But like we have a lot of times in our races, Ray, you've seen many of them. You've been in many of them. You're one of the best drivers in our Truck Series, Xfinity Series. Sometimes we have a couple of quick cautions. The guys will settle into a racing groove, and we sometimes have a long green flag run. Last night in the truck race, we had 2 long green flag runs, and the week before that, we went almost to the end of the race before we had cautions. But cautions are part of racing, and that's part of what some of the fans come to see.
It'll still be a good race either way. I promise you here a little later, I'm pretty confident, too, these guys will get things underway. So now, during practice, they kind of push the cars a little bit to see what they'll do. A lot of them will do long green flag runs and see what the fuel gauge is going to be, see what the tires are going to do. And, of course, during a race conditions, that seems to change just a little bit. So, again, when you get out there, you don't want to floor it right away. Of course, you want to stay up as high as you can. But when you start falling back, you can start concentrating a little bit more. And again, this is the beginning of the race. We've got 130 laps still yet to go, pacing on lap 3 at this point. We'll get them re-racked back up here shortly, and we'll see what we can do.
Yes, sir, Ray. It does look like that first caution, there's not a lot of changes up front. The biggest gainer I see is Gary Sexton in that Hexcom. He moved from 8th position to 4th in that first lap. We also have Buzz Moore, the 11 Budweiser Kentucky Fried Chicken. He moved from 7th up to 5th. Shane Parrish moved from 10th up to 6th. So we had quite a few guys gain a few positions there at the beginning, but when they get stacked up 2 by 2 here for the restart, it's going to be pretty exciting. No change at all in the first 1, 2, 3 positions. David Washington first, Colin Bowden second, and Josh Bonwell, like you said, who won the Xfinity Kansas race 1 week ago today in his home state. Actually, Kansas is his home track. He will be restarting 3rd, looks like.
One of the other movers I happen to see here is a 94, again, of Curtis Young. Won't be talking about him completely all night, but on the same note, he started 16th. He is up the 8th position. A couple guys actually taking the chance to get tires. Not exactly a bad move, especially if these guys up front have got a couple lap-old tires. Once things get going, you'll have a couple laps to make up for that. And again, I think these guys with fresh tires will be able to get back in the groove a little bit easier as well. We see the 10 of Nick Reynolds, the 3 of Mark Jackson. Looks like the 18 of, I'm looking down the list, excuse me, with the names of Jason Cardwell. Seem to all be getting tires, fuel. I think it's a good move on their part.
Yes, because if we do have that long green flag run, then that's exactly going to benefit you having the newest tires on your car you can have. And I am noticing Ryan Hill in that 55. He's just now pulling off a pit road. So he came in to top off. He's in that Phantom Armament Chevy SS, part of the DBR racing team. He'll be starting in the back, but he'll have new tires and full fuel load here for the restart.
Now, another thing I want to kind of point out with used tires, again, we've only got a lap into this race, not even actually a lap, unfortunately. But even out there with them on them, they'll want to scuff them up just a little bit. But with the tire temperatures, they're going to pick up the marbles, which I believe are carried over in this session from qualifying. I see pace car lights are off. We're going to double them back up here going down to turn 1. And what a lot of guys will do, especially right now, is they'll take and kind of swerve their car back and forth trying to get those marbles off the tires with little rubber balls. Still kind of keep the heat in them too, because if they cool down, they go through a cycle, and the more cycles they go through, the less grip they're going to have. Again, the field's entering turn 2. Pace car lights are off. We'll tighten them up down in 3 and 4, and we'll get back to green shortly.
Yes, sir, Ray. We've got another driver in the top 10, Damon Gilbert. He has actually already got a win in the series. He has missed a few races. It's good to see him back in a race tonight. Looks like he started 19th. He's all the way up to 10th. He is a very talented young driver. Just joined our Domino's TYJ Racing family of leagues earlier this year, back in January. So it'll be great to see what he can do. And we're going to do a new feature here, Domino's TYJ Racing and All Pro Broadcasting. We're going to do a segment called Crank It Up, fans. It's on the restart here. We're going to have 2 laps of Crank It Up, and you're going to really, really enjoy this. Looks like the pace car is about to pull in. The Mustang is in, and fans enjoy this Crank It Up segment.
Green flag. All right, fans, that was our Crank It Up segment. We'll do that 1 or 2 more times in the race. And Ray, tell us what you're seeing up front.
So far, it's been a pretty good race up front. But David Washington has pulled out to about a 4 or 5 car lead. And, of course, that was extended when the 20 of Colin Bowden unfortunately railed the wall a little bit going through turn 4. It slowed him down just a hair, but he gathered it back up. A lot of these guys are riding on the outside as far as they can go, and it seems to be saving their tires. Of course, when they go down through the front stretch, they bring it down as close as they can, if not on the apron at the start-finish line. It kind of shortens up the track by a bunch of, I'd say 1,000 feet or so. But if they can keep that speed up, there's a little bit of an angle to the start-finish line if they keep it on the track, which can also carry speed into turn 1. Right now, David Washington, with at least a 6-car lead, still pulls it out. Behind Colin Bowden is Josh Bonwell, winner of last week's Xfinity race, 10 cars back, exactly 1 second off the leader.
Yes, it's these guys have kind of straightened it out. Looked to be pretty much single file all the way around this this 1.5 mile oval, which was recently repaid. That's exactly why a lot of these guys are going to see Ray running that extreme outside groove. Matter of fact, I just saw the 20 of Colin Bowden. He just kissed the wall coming off the corner. Probably suffered 0 damage on his vehicle. But that's what we're going to see pretty much all race long. He's also in that Brockwell Strong DBR number 20 Chevy SS. The guys are going to be right up against the wall many, many times.
Yeah, these guys are really getting close to that outside wall, as we've said a million times on the start that was going to happen. they're going to take and try to keep those tires for as long as they can. This groove seems to work for a lot of the guys. Back to fifth spot, who right now is Gary Sexton in the 17, 2.9 seconds back behind the leader. David Washington seems to have that line almost mastered, seems to be pulling away almost every single lap. Right now behind him, Colin Bowden, 1/2 second behind, is kind of tinkering with that bottom line when he goes across the start-finish line, still able to carry that speed into one. Follow the grooves of David just for a little while. Again, 6 car lengths separate the top two.
Yeah, so far, correct me if I'm wrong, but David Washington has led all the laps here, and it does look like we have another caution on the track. We're going to bring that replay up here in just a minute. It looks like the 95 was involved here. We're going to get the replay pulled up in just a minute. I think he was back a little bit further back in the pack.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Luckily, he did not involve any other vehicles. That would be Jeffrey Ford. Looks like he just stretched the boundary of what that car could do. Diving off into the corner. He's using that, actually crossing start-finish line. These cars are going to move right up to the wall. He kisses the wall and it sends him right back on the inside. Luckily, he came back up the track. Almost got hit there. It looks like the 011 of Will Davis barely snuck through there without any contact, although Will Davis did almost lose control of his car, but he was able to save it, gather it back up. Will Davis is in that Cross Continent Racing Chevy SS, so it looks like a one-car incident. Unfortunately, Jeffrey Ford will be on pit road for quite a while getting that damage repaired.
Kind of watching a bunch of guys come to pit road. David Washington got his bumper kissed a little bit by Colin Bowden as they were entering. I think it was basically he was under by a mile or so. But regardless, Colin Bowden obviously taking 4 tires like everybody is at this point in time. See who gets out of here first. Looks to be the 10 of Nick Reynolds. We're going to go back a little bit and see if he only took 2 tires or no, he's still on the lead lap. We'll take a look and see how his pit stop went. Hang on a second.
Yes, sir. We'll come right back. We're going to head to commercial real quick. Fans, you are watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 200 live here at Kansas. We'll give you the updates on how many tires he took as soon as we get back from commercial. We'll be right back, fans.
I can't see his pit stop, Robert, just so you know. Yeah, I was going to take you off if that was the case. Yeah, I know you can't talk right now, Robert, but I can't see Nick's pit stop. I just tried.
Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, old man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac and never feel powerless.
Hey, this is Garrett Smithley, driving the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
If you want, Robert, poke me with how many tires he took, and I'll be glad to announce her. You can just take it. Doesn't matter either way.
Welcome back, race fans. We are getting lined up for the restart here. The cars are on the back stretch, 2 by 2 behind the pace car. We're going to be starting lap 17 as we come back to the line. And Ray, it looks like a lot of guys stayed out. The 54, Brandon Cruz, stayed out. He's got 15, 16 laps on his tires, so he's taking a risk and a strategy call early in this race. If he can get a great restart and get out in front of these cars, he might be able to maintain the lead for quite a few laps. What do you think?
Not a bad choice, depending on we're only a little bit into this race. Of course, he's got fresh tires on the 98 of David Washington behind him. Pace car will be off right here. Green flag in the air. It seems like he's got a good start. A little bit of slip up behind them. It looks like the 51 of Brian Matthews either spun the tires. At the same time as we say that, Brandon Cruz goes to the bottom line, lets the entire pack by. It was actually a good strategy to take and lead a couple laps there under caution.
Yes, he did not take off as soon as the pace car went in. He waited a few seconds. I think that surprised some of the drivers behind him that we were staying green, and it looks like Colin Bowden and that number 20 DBR machine has got the lead. He has got a mirror full of Buzz Moore. Actually, excuse me, my bad. He's got a mirror full of Dave Washington already. Dave's got 4 brand new tires, like you said, Ray. So it's not going to take long at all for Dave to make quick work of Colin. He's looking on the inside right now. Looks like he's going to be side by side going on the back stretch. So the 98 is going to have the momentum on the inside. And going into turn 3, it's going to be very interesting to see how they get in this corner without getting in each other, Ray.
That Regis car in the 98 with David Washington tries to get to the low side. The unfortunate part is when he goes into that corner, he's got to lift because, again, these tires make it real slick at this track. He wants to go up and almost hit the 20, the side of the 20 as he takes and goes through the corner. He's going to take it again to the low line, to the second groove. He's going to be blocked by the 20 of Bowden at that time. The caution is out. We're going to look behind and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll get that replay pulled up. Looks like it's going to be the 17. That would be Gary Sexton. We're going to see exactly what happened here.
My angle here, I'm actually looking at the 68 of Damon Gilbert and the 17 of Gary Sexton. It looks like Gary kind of lifted a little bit early to go into that corner, and Damon didn't, unfortunately, tap the rear end of the 17, kind of making him spin around after he hit the wall. Everybody else seems to get by it, but the front end of my screen seems like the 68 is ripped off.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And it's definitely brought the caution out here. Unfortunate for the 17 of Gary Sexton. He also got hit by, looks like, the 94 of Curtis Young involved. The 43 STP just barely squeaks through there. We're going to see if anybody comes down pit road this time. You see anybody coming down pit road yet? No takers?
Yep, we've got a couple takers here. Actually, those are the guys either involved in the record, didn't take tires last time. Trying to see some numbers here. Obviously, the 68, Damon Gilbert comes in. The 94 of Curtis Young, hopefully be able to repair that. The number 1 of Jason Jacoby, also a taker. The 12 of, taking a look here, the 12 of William Roberts Jr. It looks like about a dozen cars, roughly a handful, taking 4 tires, trying to get some Sunoco fuel back into it, and back underway.
Yes, here, I think the trick's going to be track position in this race.
If they can keep it up there, obviously, that's the biggest thing. The first off pit lane looks to be William Roberts Jr. He'll come out actually in the 7th position at this point in time until they cycle back around. Started 14th. We'll see what he can do with some fresh rubber and some Sunoco fuel in that 12 car. Now keep in mind, we've only got a lap and a half on these tires, especially with the 98 of David Washington, the 20 of Colin Bowden. Colin, as well as Josh Bonwell, have fresh rubber, so they got an advantage right now. Even though it's a lap and a half, they should be good to go for quite a while.
Yeah, I think the drivers that got the 4 tires on last pit stop, they're going to be just fine here. Like I said, I think it's going to be more a matter of track position and staying out front, and then taking care of your equipment. Obviously, this is a slick track. Drivers are going to be wanting to get into the wall. So if they can keep from getting the wall and they can keep from getting their fenders damaged, and they can keep track position. I think that's going to be the trick here.
Now, I'm not quite sure where it happened, Robert, but I'm looking at the back end of the 98 of David Washington. It does look like it's got some pretty decent little damage to the spoiler, right center and the rear bumper. I don't think that's going to affect his air wall that much here. As long as he can be patient, obviously easy in, easy out, a little bit on the brake, trailer braking going through the corner. And for those of you who don't know what trailer braking is, what these guys do, they don't want to lift all the way off the throttle if they can help so. So what they'll do is they'll keep about half or three-quarters of the throttle to slow the car down, but if it doesn't slow the car down, they want to keep the RPMs up, they'll slowly roll into the brake just a little bit to kill that momentum so the car will turn, keeping the RPMs up, keeping the rear tires going in that momentum, and hopefully be able to come through the corner a lot easier and out of the corner, turns 4 and 2 as hard as they can.
Yes, that's a new one for me. I've definitely heard the term trail braking. Ray, obviously I'm not a extremely talented driver. That's why I'm up here in the broadcast booth. You are an extremely talented driver. You're just helping out, and I do appreciate it. But I did learn something tonight. You can learn something anytime.
Well, I can't exactly take completely credit for it, or complete credit anyways. What that actually means is, like, for example, if you've got a trailer on your car and you want to slow it down, but you don't want to use the brakes on the truck, you'll just use that trailer brake, and that'll slow the vehicle down, and you never touch the brake pedal on the vehicle. So that's kind of what it means. It just kind of kills the momentum, keeps the RPMs up, keeps everything kind of rotating in the car, obviously. Pace car lights are off. We're doubling them up here, going down the back chute. We will see. We'll see what this one brings. Of course, again, a lot of fresh rubber out there, a lot of refueled cars. Put some weight back into them. Another thing I'll kind of tell you that I've learned, fuel usually weighs about 8 pounds a gallon. So if they burn off a gallon, they lose 8 pounds in the rear. That also helps with refilling. Looks like David Washington looks to want to get this race underway. He's tailgating the pace car at the moment in time, waiting for the field to catch up.
Yes, and while we have this brief minute, I do want to mention to the fans, every Wednesday and Thursday night, this is Adonis 2YJ Racing. We do give away a free large 3-topping pizza. I'm going to give you fans all the details here in a minute once we get back green. We gave away pizza last night. We've given away 19.
Green
so
flag,
we'll give you the details as the green flag is out. Go ahead and cover the restart there, Ray.
Yes, sir. David Washington way on the outside, starting second. Not quite sure what exactly happened there. I was trying to figure that out. Listen to the drivers. It looks like everybody's got into him. And David just got spun around. It looked to be by the 20 of Colin Bowden. I'm going to replay that and take a look at it here.
Yeah, if you will take a look at that, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and go over this. So you've got the next 2 or 3 minutes to yourself.
Not quite sure exactly what happened here. I mean, it's a very tough call, Robert. Kind of looking like David Washington was way out front. Nobody was caught up to him during the pace lap there. The pace car pulled off. Watching the 20 right now as they go down into turn 1, he goes to the outside of the 98. 98 tries to come up the track, and unfortunately he taps him, puts him in the wall, collecting the 11 and then making everybody else kind of scatter at that time. Looking also here at the 32, unfortunately Dustin Lee, he got a little bit involved in it when everybody got scattered. He went down to the low line at the same time. The one of Jason Jacoby went up, came down the track, tapped his right rear, and it kind of caused him to spin into the wall. You've got a lot of damaged cars here, and unfortunately there's kind of not an explanation for this. It's kind of weird kind of looking at it. I know things are kind of loose in the beginning. I just can't explain that restart, unfortunately.
Yeah, let us know if anybody's taking any pit stops here. I'm going to continue to reevaluate the situation as the admin, and I'll get back to you in another 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Completely understood. For what everybody doesn't know too much of is Robert is also one of the admins, and we got to look through this to see exactly what happened. Obviously, we look through these replays after things are kind of done and said. Well, with all that luck, it kind of put Josh Bonwell on the front row and Kyle Charpenter the outside of him. No damaged cars. It seems like they'll be okay. Back to the 81 and third of Shane Parrish. Back to the 4th position will be the 12 of William Roberts. The 62 of Ellery Queen will be the 5th possession. Buzz Moore, who was damaged in that, they show 6, but that will change once they cycle through here, of course. He's in trying to get some repairs done at this moment in time. Looks like the 97 of Jason Abrams, no damage to his car at all. The Art of the Ruin on his car. Tanner Tallarico in the 42 will actually start. Looks to be the 7th position. Again, when they cycle through, I'll be able to tell that. And the 34 of George Hendricks will be in the 8th position. Ninth will be the number 1 of Jason Jacoby, who also obviously was involved in that wreck, unfortunately, trying to avoid everybody, turned his car to the left, went right down to the 32 of Dustin and put him into the pits to get some corrections done, obviously, to his car. And it looks like, again, once things kind of go through, Ryan Matthews will be in the 10th spot in the 51. Back up front, taking a look at the 56 of Josh Bonwell. Again, no damage on his car. He should be able to continue. I know he got fresh tires not too long ago. Things seems that he has a good shot at this. Of course, we're only 27 laps into this. We've got over 106 to go at this point.
Yeah, keep going, Ray. Thanks.
10-4, sir. 10-4. Obviously, like I said, the admins are kind of looking things over at this point in time. I'm going to go back a little bit here, checking some cars, see who through the field is actually lined up here with some damage. Take a look here. Again, back in the 9th position is going to be the number 1 of Jason Jacoby. It doesn't look like it's too much damage to his car. He should be able to survive it without a big problem. We'll look at the front. Let's see. Rear chase on his car. Well, right front seems to be the only damage done to that. His aero is not going to be affected too badly. Again, as long as he can make his tires last, he should be okay. Yeah, we were taking a look at that. One of the other guys here told me it's scraped up on the right-hand side a little bit. Again, not affecting anything with the aero. Should be able to make it through the rest of the race as long as there's no contact involved. Going back to the 18 of Jason Carwell, I don't see any damage to him. I don't think he was involved. I think he did a pretty good scattering around that whole wreck. A lot of these guys, actually, right now, Jason looks to be back in the 17th position now that things are kind of followed through to the start-finish line. One more car I'll take a look at here. The 14 of James Ross, who is again starting in the 10th position, did not qualify. Actually started second from last place in the 32nd place to start. Looks to have a luck on his side this evening. Again, no damage. We'll restart 10th on the outside of the 5th row.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ray, it looks like quite a few vehicles were taken out in that incident. I think we had a little bit of road rage that went on there. I have dealt with the situation. I have removed a driver from the race tonight. He is parked behind the wall. He will be definitely meeting us in the officials in the NASCAR hauler for what I'm going to make a very short talk, and will determine his future in the league after tonight.
We do have some problems when it does happen that way. Of course, angers do happen. This is sim racing. Things do happen to your car. People do get angry. We understand. The only problem you can't do is throw a fist, which actually is not a bad thing at points in times. And in this case, we're kind of grateful for that. But we will take care of what needs to be taken care of. This is a very well professionally run league. We have a lot of fun here. And these guys up front obviously are having more fun than most at this point. And, well, I think the most guy, I hate to say it, Josh Bonwell, boy, I'll tell you, his mom watches most every race she can. I believe she's watching this evening. Hi, Mom, I'll give it out to you just for Josh there. And right now, he's on point. He's going to restart this whole field.
Yes, sir. Josh has got a very excellent chance of going back-to-back. He won the Xfinity race here last Thursday night. This is his home track. He put a lot of time in practicing every single session we had ready this week. He joined in. So if he can keep his fenders clean, keep it out of the wall, he will have no problems having a good finish tonight. And I do want to go back over, this is the Domino's 200 Racing. We do give away a large free pizza, fans. I know you've been patient tonight. Thank you so much. We got that cleaned up. The way that works is you can text 919-883-7497. Or if you're in the live race chat, you can say, I choose this driver to win the race. The first fan to accurately predict the winner of this race before halfway, which tonight will be lap 67, you win a large 3-topping pizza from your local Domino's store, carry out only, anywhere in the United States of America. Ray, we've been giving this away, like I said, 19 times over the last 21 weeks or so, and we're definitely looking forward to do that.
Yes, sir. We have had many giveaways with the pizza. We've had a lot of pictures online showing that the guys have received that, and everybody seems to enjoy a good Domino's pizza. A little bit of stack up on the start here. Green flag went out immediately. Josh Bonwell took his choice to take when the pace car pulled off to pull out front. Being chased down right now by the 12 of William Roberts Jr. He's about 3 car lengths back to second. On the restart, we did see I'm looking back to the field. My apologies on the number of the car. I'm trying to find it. I think it was Kyle Terpenter. No, he started up front. My apologies. But it did seem like they stacked up towards the back. Again, Josh Bonwell with a 0.2 second lead is kind of shrinking at this point in time, with the 12 of William Roberts kind of right in his tracks, trying that outside line. Bonwell trying to go a little bit low to cut off some of the track, not having a great success at it, but still keeping that 2-car lead ahead of the 12 of Roberts.
Yes, we do have some side-by-side racing back here in the back of the pack. I'm right on board with Mark Jackson in the number 3 Goodrich Quick Lube Plus Chevy SS. In front of him, we've got quite a few cars side-by-side. It looks like the 62 of Jay Queen and the Impact Chevy SS. He's getting passed right now by looks like the 14 of James Ross and that Aegis Chef Andy's Lobster Rolls Ford. And he's actually getting passed again by, looks like Damon Gilbert in the 68. So he's doing the smart thing of taking care of his equipment, letting the faster guys pass him. He'll be around for the end of the race, as it looks like James Ross might have just kissed the ball himself.
Yeah, I saw the sparks off the 14 machine as he turned around, went through turn 2. Very smart move by the 62 of Ellery Queen of saving his stuff. Even though he's on the inside line, he tries that low line again to get past the damaged machine of the 68 of Gilbert. Will not have much success. Kind of go back up to the high side to take and fall on the line. It isn't going to happen. Got blocked by the 003 of Kyle Carpenter at this point. Still trying to run that low line in the 62 and has a car to the outside. Nope, hole opened up. Back again, here comes Kyle with the 003 trying to take it and get past the 62. A little bit of give and take with the 62. Still good moves. Not a bad race going on for the 11th spot.
Yes, we do have a battle back here. It looks like the 62 of Jay Queen, otherwise known as Ellery Queen. He's going to try to make that inside groove work. He's working there right now. Looks like he's getting passed again by the 003, like you mentioned, of Kyle Sharpender in that Apex Racing Academy. The preferred groove here is on the house side, but I think Jay is trying to put some rubber down on the low lane, and actually he's not losing too much, although coming off the corner, that's where he definitely is getting passed.
And obviously the 43 will get by him as well on that outside line. That momentum line is on the high side. Of course, you cut off a couple feet, like I said again, going on the low side, but you've got to be able to hold it down there. That car wants to walk to the outside. You do your best to hold it, and I'm hoping that this is saving instead of burning his stuff up, trying to take and get around these guys. Jay Queen, an actual Domino's TYJ veteran, again, been in many leagues with us for quite a while. He falls back in the line using that third groove, not the second this time, with the guys ahead of him. A little bit of shake-up as I see the 11 of Buzzmore go to the inside of the 3 of Mark Jackson, now chasing down the 43 damaged machine of Doug Roth. Roth will take the high side. Buzz will actually try to still clear the 3. Won't happen. Mark will take that spot back for a short period of time on the outside.
Yes, sir, we got battles all over the track, Ray. We are up here to lap number 36. Quite a few drivers so far have just kissed the wall with the right side, but most of them don't have any kind of major damage. At least not damage that's going to slow them down. And the tires are getting some laps on them. So this is really going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out, as doesn't look like Josh Bonwell has still got the lead by 4 or 5 car lengths.
Josh doing an excellent job on that high side, keeping it off the wall best he can. No straight marks on the side of the 56 machine. The 12 behind him again back in his tracks, but Bonwell seems to have the preferred line going. Back to the 11th spot. Buzz Moore actually ran on the outside of the 3 of Mark Jackson. Jackson trying the low side. No damage to that car, of course, which is a good thing, especially with all the little wrecks that we've had. We've had 3 cautions so far. Number 3 of Mark Jackson losing a little bit of ground to the 43 of Doug Roth. Doug Roth doing an excellent job on that second line, going to the low line. They will fall back in line, front to tail.
Yeah, we'll kind of go through the field here, real quick while we're running green. We do have Josh Bonwell in the 56. Tonight he is running a little bit different paint scheme. He's in the NATTEC Solutions Ford. Looks like he qualified third, running first. In second behind him, we have William Roberts Jr. Tonight, he's in the Z1 dashboard Toyota Camry, the number 12. He's moved from 14th all the way up to second. William Roberts is having a great run. In third, we have the number 1, Jason Jacoby. He started 5th, he's up to third. He's in the Domino's Drill Spill Chevy SS. His car looks pretty clean here. Behind him in fourth, we have the number 55, Ryan Hill. He is in the Phantom Armament number 55. He's having a good run. He started all the way back in 20th. Didn't take a qualifying time, but he is one of our fast drivers. He's up to fourth. In fifth, we have Ryan Matthews in the number 51. He is in that S&M Auto Service Ford. He has a little bit of damage there in the back, but he's having a good run. Behind him in sixth, where he started, Tanner Talrico in that 42. Looks like the sponsor on that is Fox. Trying to get a better look at the complete sponsor. He's on that Fox Chevy SS. Good looking paint job for Tanner. And running behind him, we have Shane Parrish in the number 81. He started in 10th, he's up to 7th. And running 8th, we have Kyle Sharpen here in that Apex Academy 003. Running 9th, we have James Ross. Talked to him earlier about the sponsor of the race, POWERTEK Power Solutions. He's in that Aegis-sponsored Ford Fusion. He has a little bit of right front damage, but it's not slowing him down much at all. And running 10th, we have Buzz Moore in the 11. Looks like in 13th, we have the STP-sponsored Doug Roth in the 43. He's got a little bit of damage as well. And we already talked about Mark Jackson. He's up to 12th in that number 3. Talked about Hillary Queen. We've also got Dustin Lee in that 32. He's actually back one lap down. First car one lap down. What are you seeing up front there, Ray?
Josh Bonwell maintaining the lead, but obviously best he can. Right behind him, one car length, down to a half a car length now. 12 looks like he almost tapped the wall, but he's got a great momentum run coming off of turn 4 at the line. May he get it done? No. Bonwell will actually have the advantage by half a car length. Still using that second groove up in front of the 12. They just barely miss as they come through turn 2. The 12 is right on his bumper. A little bit of wiggle coming off of 2. With that, the advantage of 56 of Bonwell will pull another 3 car lengths ahead. Very good battle for the first place spot.
Yes, Red, thanks for covering that. Something that these drivers are finding out. The preferred groove is that high groove, especially for these fast drivers. And making a pass is going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of strategy. You're going to have to set up the guy in front of you for several different laps. If you're both running almost the exact same laps times, then you're going to have to figure out the best way for the guy in front of you to make a mistake. Get a good run like the 12 is right now. Looks like Roberts is getting below Josh Baum on the 56 as they dive into turn 3. He may be able to clear him here, although they're still side by side. This is really tight racing. Looks like the 56 is going to prevail because 12 had to get out of it just a little bit as they come down the front stretch. And across the start-finish line, it does look like Josh Bonwell maintains that lead. That's exactly how difficult it is to make the pass here.
Give and take, give and take, give and take. That's the 2 words they've got to remember, especially right now today at this track. I will tell you right now, the 12 taketh and the 12 giveth. He actually tried like crazy. That inside line could not hold it. The 56 of Bonwell, when he went to the inside, the 12 did. There was a little bit of a wiggle off of 2, but Bonwell back to the front. Seems to be doing a great job with the line, and that seems to be the fastest way around this track. The 12 looking to the outside again, to the right rear corner of the 56, trying to get it done. Lap car ahead of them. Looks like the 88 of Kyle Kramer. That'll actually put Kyle the 1 lap down once they pass 12 to the inside. 56, a little wiggle, goes to the top, does not touch the wall. 12 has the advantage off the corner and will take the lead at this time down the back chute.
Yes, they are catching up with that lap car, the 88 of Kyle Cameron. He would be the first car to go 1 lap down after the number 12 of Roberts is able to pass him, which he does easily on the inside. So that might have been a smart move by Josh Baumel, the 56, at this point in this run, to not continue to abuse his tires, but to let the 12 go ahead and go. He saw he was a little bit quicker, so that was a very smart move. It looks like in third we still have Jason Jacoby. Although to his inside it looks like, wow, looks like Kyle Cameron and Jason Jacoby. It looks like Tanner Talrico was making a move, got into Kyle just a little bit, and they both lose a couple of positions as Jason Jacoby and that number 1 Domino sponsored Chevy SS makes the move right around again.
Jason Jacoby with a nice crossover there on the inside. Obviously, the lap car being a little bit effective there for his pass. Runs that high line like everybody else, of course, at this point in time. The 42 of Tanner Talrico trying to get to him to try the inside. He's farther off the wall than the 1, but the line seems to be working for him. Makes it a half a car length back right in his tracks. Tries to get it down to that third groove. Turn the tire as far as it'll go, but it just won't go down. Well, there he goes to the inside off of the apron, which is a common occurrence here at Kansas. When you make that transition, though, to the apron and back off, you've got to make sure you hit it right because the little bump will upset these cars, especially with these tires. Again, before I explained about driving on 4 ice cube, well, that's what they're feeling right now. The times have actually fallen off probably at least by a second and a half per lap, which means they're lifting a little bit more, braking a little bit earlier into the corners. Right now, still with Jason Jacoby in the third spot, only 1 car length back to the 42 of Tanner Tellerico. Back up front, the 12 seems to make a comfortable position for himself, a second behind him to the second place, 1.095 back to Bonwell. Bonwell still doing a good job on that high side of saving his stuff. 1 more second back again to the number 1 of Jason Jacoby in the third spot.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a great summary there, Ray. I wanted to go over a couple of the big movers right now in the race. The biggest one I can see in the top 10 is James Ross. We did talk to him before the race. He started in 32nd. He's all the way up to 8th position here. Some other big movers, obviously Ryan Ahill on that 55 Phantom Armament started 20th. He's up to 5th. Who else do you see as a big mover?
Looks to be the 18 of Jason Cardwell there. He seems to be doing pretty good. Starting at 21st spot, no qualifying order right now, running from 10th. And very nice green and black 18 car, looking very sharp tonight in that Toyota.
Yes, another thing, fans, I do want to remind you, you've got about 15 laps to get your pick in for the free large Domino's Pizza. Let me explain that one more time to you. Every Wednesday and every Thursday night, we give away a large 3-topping Domino's Pizza from any Domino's store in the United States of America, carry-out only. This is how you win your pizza, fans. Before halfway lap 67 tonight, you pick your winner. Text it to 919-883-7497. Again, that number is 919-883-7497. The first fan to accurately pick the winner of this race, they get that free large pizza. And I was just going to let you know a couple of people have already been picked. So you don't pick them. We have Ellery Queen has been picked. Kyle Charpentier has already been picked. Tim Cox has already been picked. Dave Washington's already been picked. And Shane Parrish has a couple of picks.
Well, speaking of Shane Parrish, the 51 of Brian Matthews and him has actually made it down pit road. Looks like we might have some green flag pit stops underway. We are on lap 54, which would actually make it for the run close to the end of the fuel run. And again, tires and fuel. Tires are very important. I've said it a million times. I mean, things are wearing out. A lot of guys will take them early and try to catch back up. Use those fresh tires to take and get many laps they can before the other guys come in. With that being said, looking back up front to the 12 of William Roberts Jr., very, very comfortable lead at this point in time. Almost 3 seconds back to the 1 now in second place of Jason Jacoby. Behind him, the 42 of Tanner Tellerico. Josh Bonwell still holding his own right now in 4th, but still seems to be saving them tires. Once it comes to a pit stop, that may change. We'll see what happens when that comes around.
Yes, I'd be surprised, Ray. You can tell me. We have had a pretty long green flag run here. I would predict every single driver will take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles and 2 cans of Sunoco fuel, wouldn't you?
Oh, no question whatsoever about that, Robert. If they took 2, we've done that before in league races, even with more grip at different tracks. It seems to cause a very, very loose condition. And as we're talking about that, the 12 of William Roberts Jr. is heading pit lane. I'm going to look here right now, see exactly what's going to happen. Behind him, caution will come out. If that's the case, if I was the 1 in the 56, I would run through pit lane as quick as possible. We'll rewind back to the caution, let you know what happened.
Yeah, give us an update in a second on the 2 that were down pit road, see if they did complete their pit stops. It looks like as we get the replay pulled up here, it looks like the 3 of Mark Jackson gets into the wall, following him in his car. Looks like just going down the straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little wiggle coming off. He used that low line coming out of 2. Coming up the track behind the 88, got a little bit of a wiggle to his car. Unfortunately, it made it turn right, tapped the outside wall, collected the 43 behind him, and I'm actually watching right now as the 97 of
Jesse Abrams
just missed the front nose of the 43 by literally inches when he went by at high speed. Did a great job avoiding that. Just a 2-car collective, unfortunately, in this latest caution.
That looked like a classic case of a right front tire blowing on that number 3, Mark Jackson. It took him right into the wall. They have got a lot of laps on these tires, and that's exactly probably what happened. These cars are having a lot of abuse on the right side tires, and he's got some damage, and hopefully not too much to the other cars.
Now, one thing I did point out, of course, this caution came out. The number 12 of William Roberts, the number 1 of Jason Jacoby, actually out front. Jason Jacoby had a chance to pit. William Roberts, unfortunately, with the 18, I believe it was the 18 of Jason Cardwell, came in just before that caution came out. Now, what William Roberts did, he immediately flew through the pits, obviously at pit speed. He had enough room to come back out first, but he's still going to have to pit. It gave the advantage to the other guys to take and pit, get 4 fresh Goodyears. William, right now, with his chance to pit, it's going to put him back, unfortunately, towards the tail end of the line.
Yes, but with the strength we've seen from William Roberts, given enough time, I think he will definitely be able to make his way up. Once the scoring loop changes, we'll definitely be able to see, because he's definitely not going to be in first position. But that was a heads-up move, Ray, for him to go down pit road without making the pit stop. That way he wouldn't be trapped a lap down.
Yeah, what ended up happening, for those of you who want to learn a little bit about it, that they came in and say he was in 4-tire pit stop and the caution came out, everybody slows down. It'll trap him where the caution is in that position, and the field goes by him, and unfortunately at that point in time, you'll be trapped 1 lap down. Hopefully everybody takes and pit, cycles through. It'll still keep you a lap down at that point because, again, everybody stays on that lap unless they get a lucky dog or a wave round, and it's impossible to get a wave round because you went into the pits at that point in time.
Thank you, Ray. That's a great explanation. And I'm looking right now. I think we've got a few cars that are going to take the wave around. We're on the tail end of the lead lap. But it looks like perhaps Jason Jacoby, with those pit stops, is going to come out as the race leader, with Tanner Talrico in second, Buzz Moore in third, Jason Cardwell in fourth, William Roberts. He didn't lose that much at all. Really heads-up move. He falls from the lead back to fifth. Ellery Queen up to sixth. Great run for him. Doug Roth looks like he'll be in seventh after the timing recycles. William Davis in eighth. George Hendricks, a great mover from 29th up to 9th. And James Ross will move all the way up to 10th for the restart.
Not a bad move for William Roberts Jr. Actually, I'm kind of happy he'll be in the top 5 at this point on the restart. We'll see what's going to happen once things kind of get restacked back up. Looking up to the number 1 of Jason Jacoby. Of course, like you said, there's a few cars getting the wave around right now. As we get the 1 to go, the pace car lights will be off, and we will restack them 2 by 2 by 2.
Yes, and I want to do one thing real quick. We call it the Domino's TYJ driver profile. Jesse Abraham in that number 97. Jesse is from Bowling Green, Ohio. His sponsor, main sponsor, is Art of Ruin 3D. He's been in sim racing for 7 years. He won the 2016 NIS Watkins Glen. He is self-described as a Roval racer. He wants to give special thanks to his mom, dad, and family. And that has been a Domino's driver profile.
One of the things you actually have an option to do as the leader, you can choose a high or a low line on the restart, and actually, wisely, Jason Jacoby ties the high line because once he goes into turn 1, he's obviously going to be by that wall as best he can. It won't have him too much of a chance to kind of get up in front of the 42 of Tanner Talarico. Talarico, on the other hand, is going to have to get a jump. As the pace car pulls off, will steadily go down. Jacoby hits the throttle, restarts the race, green flag in the air. The 42 of Talarico goes to the low line with Buzz Moore as best they can get up to speed. And Jason Jacoby got a heck of a restart there, right up by the wall.
Yes, and Tanner was able to maintain that second position. He does get in front of Buzz Moore. We've got side-by-side racing back a little bit further in the pack. Looks like behind right now we have George Hendricks in the 34. As they do get straightened out, the number 12 of William Roberts looks to the inside real quick, but James Ross in that 14. Will William Roberts be able to stick with those new tires? He's still to the side of James Ross as they come down the front stretch across the start-finish line. They are side-by-side. Great racing here. Great.
Wasting no time. The 12 absolutely is taking and digging as fast as he can to get back towards the front. Of course, keep in mind when he was leading this race, he was quite the ways out there. So if he can get back to that line, which unfortunately he taps the 14, we got another car spinning up ahead. Caution will be out. Looks like the 42 of Tanner Talarico. We'll get the replay up for you.
Yes, it definitely looks like the 42
Okay, I'm looking at the replay now, Robert. It looks like the 42 just got a hair bit sideways off the corner, lost the speed, and the one of Jason Jacoby caught up to him. This is after the pass, of course. Caught the left rear, unfortunately, turning the 42 to the wall, coming back down in front of the field, having everybody scatter. And it looks like everybody will get through it except for Jacoby, who actually spun himself when he hit the wall himself, too.
Yes, it looks like they took several cars in that accident. Very, very unfortunate. A little bit of touch with these cars being as loose as they are will definitely get you spun around. And on that note, we're going to take a real quick commercial break, fans. I want to remind you are watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 200. They are from Richfield, Connecticut. Your one-stop shop for all emergency power needs, providing cell service and emergency standby power solutions, serving Fairfield County, Connecticut, Westchester and Putnam Counties, New York. Fans, we'll be right back.
Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, old man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac and never feel powerless.
When you're ready, how can we help? Help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
Welcome back, race fans, to the POWERTEK Power Solutions 200 here at Kansas Speedway. It looks like we're definitely going to have a restart here. It looks like the pace car is leading the field race. I'm going to let you do the... Actually, let's do one of our crank it ups, if we can. One more time on this restart. Looks like the Mustang is getting ready going down the backstretch. I've got one of our famous Domino's driver profiles to go over in just a second, but we'll do that after the restart. Again, fans, you have got one quick reminder, you've got one more lap to get your pick in for the free pizza, 919-883-7497.
One quick thing on Ryan Hill. He pitted on lap 58. The restart was lap 60. He's only got 10 laps of caution on them tires right on the front row. Here we go with the Domino's TYJ. Crank it up.
Green flag.
All right, Ray, with that, crank it up. Very, very exciting feature for Domino's TYJ Racing. What's happening up front, Ray?
Looking right now back into the 5th position, actually make that 4th. The number 12 of William Roberts Jr. was in 8th 2 laps ago. One of the things I heard on the radio, Ellery Queen come over, the 62, says, "William, what are you doing?" William radioed back, "Doing what I can to get around you." He did exactly that. Went to the outside of the 62, went to the inside of the 18, and now passing the 94 for 4th place. He is on the move, trying to get that car back to the front. Back to the 51 of Matthews, who actually is over 2 seconds ahead of the 12 of Roberts. He will be in the 3rd spot. A little bit of damage to that car, but still holding his own. Josh Bonwell back up front, one of the front runners right now. Ryan Hill still doing a great job, right on the point, about 4 or 5 car lengths back to the 56.
Yes, Roberts is not wasting any time at all getting back up to the front. Josh Bonwell at the same time is not wasting much time at all getting back to the rear of the 55. Like you did mention, Ryan A. Hill in the 55 did stay out on that last caution, so he has about 2, maybe 3 laps more on his tires than these other drivers. But he is definitely willing that 55 Phantom Armament, and his goal is definitely going to be to keep these other drivers behind him, including Josh Bonwell. Although I still, if I had a pick, and actually the picks are over, I would be picking Josh Bonwell, but I don't make picks in the race because I cannot win the free pizza. But I will update all the fans on who wins the free pizza into the race. Go ahead.
Sorry about that, Robert. And looking back to the 3rd spot right now, the Ryan Matthews machine, the 51. Little bit of damage to the rear of that machine. Spoiler kind of up in the air, just a hair. Bumper obviously damaged. He did come off the last turn 4, and grabbed a sparks off that wall, but still killed the momentum up to the point where he can hold just under a second between him and the leader. Josh Bonwell, of course, in between them, still doing a great job. No damage whatsoever to that car. I know we keep talking about damage, but unfortunately, because of the slick track and the cautions we've had, we have maybe half the field that has a little bit, if not a lot, obviously, of damage to their cars. Still holding their own, though. Going back to the 5th position of Curtis Young, we'll actually skip over the 12 William Roberts because Roberts still on the move, 2 seconds behind the leader. Curtis Young, a lot of damage to that car. Still running the high line, but unfortunately not be able to keep the momentum up and try to catch up with the leaders. Still doing a good job for 3rd. Obviously, right now, the 18 looking to the inside to make that make 5th spot his. Trying to take and make that line work, just not kind of having it. The 18 back in line, going to the high side as Curtis takes a couple feet off, going across the stripe. Back up, we hear one in the grass. We're going to take a look. No caution out. Green flag still going. 18 still trying to take a pass on the 94. Trying the low line, coming through 2. Fall back in the line. Not a lot of passing going on. Trying to save everything for the end. Lap 75 is what we're on. Still got a handful over 50 to go.
This looks like the 62 of Ellery Queen. He just got a little contact. Him and the 11 were trying to occupy the exact same piece of real estate going down the front stretch. That contact sent Ellery Queen through the grass. He's able to gather it back up, collect it. An actual awesome piece of driving by Ellery J. Queen in that number 62 Impact Chevy SS. He maintains, and we do stay green.
Very good moves by the 62 and Domino's TYJ veteran of Ellery Queen. Back up front right now to the 12 of William Roberts. The 12 machine has now made headway. Getting back to the stripe, he's still in fourth position, but looking to take away that third position of the 51 of Ryan Matthews. He's only about 4 car lengths back, making that high line work. Right now, doesn't really have to pound the car much, but saving his stuff, running the smoothest line he possibly can. Right now, 2 car lengths back to the 51. Looks like within a lap or two, he's going to have that position.
Thank you very much, Ray. I wanted to go over one other driver for a quick Domino's driver profile, the number 11 of Buzz Moore. Buzz Moore in that number 11 is driving that Budweiser Kentucky Fried Chicken paint scheme. He's been a veteran driver. And just a couple of quick facts on Buzz Moore. He is from Highland Springs, Virginia. Buzz's team is HS Speed. Obviously, his sponsors are Budweiser Kentucky Fried Chicken, B&E Small Engine Repair. Bud has been racing in real life, check this out, for 21 years. Here's some great stats on Buzz. He's very accomplished in the real racing world. In the 96-97 season, he won his first, 31 straight kart races in the Capital City Speedway. 1997, the Capital City Speedway in Ashland, Virginia, at the age of 10 years old. In 1999, he won his first VDKA State Raceway win on the junior track champion. He was also, it looks like in 2012, many senior championships and poles, winning several thousands of dollars. And in 2013, he was the VDKA senior champ and the light champ, with many, many more local wins. He would like to give thanks out to God, his wife, and his lovely family. Buzz is having a pretty good run tonight. He's got some damage on that number 11 Budweiser, but we're happy to have him in the league.
Third place now, MOTM, man on the move, the number 12 of William Roberts Jr. Easily made the pass on the 51 last lap coming out of turn 2. The 51 stayed to the high side. The 12 took the momentum to the low side. Just a drag race down the back. Easily made the pass going into 3. Now marking his eyes on the 56 of Josh Bonwell. Bonwell still doing a great job up front, following in Ryan Hill's tracks, not trying to take him past him, saving the stuff to the end. Lap 81 again. We just got a little over 40 laps to go at this point. Actually, it'd be 52 laps, a little bit of math in my head as we're thinking quick. Not burning up his stuff. He's got 6 car lengths between the leader and him, still doing a great job. Back behind him, the 12 of Roberts, again, 7 to 8 car lengths back. Roberts still using that line right there at the start-finish line with his left side tires. If he goes low, you got to lift off the throttle to keep that car low, cutting off the feet. But obviously, you lose momentum. But on that little bit of an edge in the banking of turn 1, if you keep your tires off that white line and off the apron, you can almost keep it right on the floor through there without a big issue. Now closing in on the second of the 56 of Josh Bonwell. 4 car lengths separate the 2. And we might have a challenge for second here shortly.
Yes, we got some exciting racing back in the 8th position. Who is the number 42? Gets into the number 94 of Curtis Young. Curtis was running a little bit slower with some damage. 42 thought he was clear, just barely made contact. We do stay green here. And that's very exciting racing. They were side by side there. Luckily, the caution did not come out, so these guys are going to have to start thinking about strategy here, Ray, because with the few laps we have left, they're definitely going to have to make one more green flag pit stop if that's what they end up getting. Cars, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no matter what, they're going to make another pit stop because of fuel, obviously. I don't think you're going to see a lot of splash and goes here, Robert, because of the fact of tires. We have a new second place guy, the man on the move again, 12 of William Roberts Jr. He looks like he got a little bit loose off that corner, takes it back to the high side, still takes some momentum. Now chasing down the 55 of Ryan Hill. Again, 8 lengths, separate the 2. Just under half a second. Going back in the field a little bit, the 11 of Buzz Moore seems to be holding his own in 7th. James Ross in 8th in the 14 machine. Tyler Tellerico, obviously, with the contact of the 94 back a short bit ago, seems to still be doing a pretty good job. A little bit of bang-up job on the right rear of that car for 9th spot. Your 10th spot belongs to George Hendricks at this point in the 34 machine. He was damaged a little bit early on. Seemed to get it fixed, got back out. Seems to be doing a great job for 10th place.
Yes, George Hendricks. He is driving that Mad Firearms Ford Fusion, that number 34. George started all the way back in 29th. He's up to 10th position. I do know that he races with the Aegis Motorsports team. He gets a lot of advice there, and he's having a great run tonight.
A little bit of a different line now back up front in the 12 machine. I see he's trying to take the low line through the corners. Don't know if that's good or bad because the tires are going to get scuffed a little bit more down there if they're not worn out already. I know he saved it pretty good through the corners passing people, only burning them up a little bit, of course, using that high line with the momentum as best as possible. Hill takes a little bit of a lower line down through here, again on the apron, past the stripe. Still the same distance between the two machines right now, Ford separating the two. Only 0.2 seconds back. A little bit of a gain right there by the 12. Now 3 car lengths back, now 2. It looks like we may have a challenge for the lead here shortly.
Yes, William Roberts Jr. is definitely going to be making a move here on Ryan A. Hill. Ryan's got a tad of damage on that right front fender. Most of these guys, like I said, by the end of this race are going to have a little bit of damage from touching the wall. And right now it looks like William Roberts is going to move it all the way to the low line as he's coming across the start-finish line. He may have the momentum to sneak up in front of Ryan A. Hill. Looks like he is going to complete that pass.
Still does a great job holding that lead. We'll see how much he can separate. Loses a little bit of momentum. Hill back to the low side, trying to get back to the front. Not in the tire tracks, but to the left rear corner. It looks like there's going to be a drag race down to 3. Hill with the advantage on the low line will not be able to hold it door to door into turn 4. The top side of William Roberts Jr. takes the lead, another car length ahead.
Yes, Ryan A. Hill is not going to go down without a fight. I can guarantee you that. He's in that Hill Company Phantom Armament number 55. We still do have about 44, 45 laps to go in this race. One more pit cycle, so we're going to see some changes, and the strategy is going to come into play. When I say strategy, what I mean, Ray, of course everybody's going to get 4 Goodyear Eagles. They're going to get 2 cans of Sunoco fuel. Question is, who's going to take the gamble, come down pit road early, kind of shortcut as we call it, to get the advantage of those fresh tires? Sometimes it'll catch you, and you'll get burnt by it if a caution comes out. It happened 2 times last night in the truck race. I'm not sure if it hurt you last night in the race you were in, but it definitely can happen. So I'm wondering who's going to take that gamble, that strategy call.
As you say that, I'm looking right now at the 51 of Ryan Matthews. He has taken that gamble, went down pit lane. Not a bad idea. You do lose a bunch of positions here, but on the same note, you'll have fresh rubber. When that comes to that, these guys are obviously a second and a half to maybe even 2 seconds off the pace of what he's going to be able to have, so he'll be able to make up laps early. With this 4-tire change, I see the right sides go up. First can of Sunoco fuel in the car. Left side's up. Second can goes in, and he is going to be down and about here heading out of the pit.
Yes, another side-by-side battle. The 42 of Tanner Tallarico just got around Nick Crawford. In that 10 machine, Nick was able to make a crossover move and get back around him, but just as he does that, Nick kisses the wall himself. This is almost like give and take, and for now, Tanner Tallarico gets a little bit loose. It's going to open the door to George Hendricks. As George Hendricks, we're just talking about him, is making a move on the inside of Tanner Tallarico, but Tanner's going to battle back on the outside here. It looks like George Hendricks may be able to clear. He is going to complete that pass as they come to the start-finish line, although Tanner's going to look back to the low side as they cross the start-finish. He's going to make a move on the inside here of George Hendricks. This is happening time and time again with different drivers' race. Very, very exciting racing. As Tanner gets in the corner 2 deep, he has to get out of the gas. George Hendricks will retake that position.
As I said before, it's like dirt on asphalt. A lot of crossover moves going on here, of course. The 34 with the advantage of George Hendricks' machine. Now 2 car lengths in front of Tanner Tallarico. I'll get this down. Back up front for the moment, we're looking at the 12 machine of William Roberts, who has now taken a 1.5 second lead within a matter of about 6 laps of taking the lead at that point in time. Back to the 55 of Ryan A. Hill. He started 20th. He is right now your second place machine. We're still looking for green flag pit stops with these guys. And Josh Bonwell in third, who is being chased down by the 18 of Jason Cardwell, who actually, what I seen come out of nowhere a couple laps ago when he passed the 14th of James Ross. James Ross falling back a little bit to the 7th spot, back to the 18 of Josh Cardwell, jumping around there a little bit, right in the tire tracks of the 56 machine of Bonwell. Goes to the low side, 56 up the track just a hair. The 18 trying to make the move to the inside, will not make it stick. going back in the tire tracks up against the wall, loses a little bit of space there.
Yes, he's trying everything he can do. That would be Jason Cardwell. And this, by the way, is his first race. He's new with Domino's TYJ Racing. He passed a couple of tryout races, and he has put on a pretty good show. He was running in 4th. He started all the way back in 21st position, Jason did. And he's definitely trying everything he can do to get around Josh Bonwell. But at this point, looks like the battle has cooled off. Although, just as I say that, Jason gets a great run off of turn number 2. Right as they go down the backstretch, he almost gets to the bumper. He's looking at the low groove there to get around him. They're side by side as they go through turn 3 and 4. And it looks like they're both catching, making up time. It looks like the 55 is coming down pit road.
55, Ryan A. Hill, obviously one of the second taker there from what I'm seeing. Back up front to the William Roberts machine at 12. Right now, 3 seconds ahead of almost anybody, passing the lap car of the 88. Seems to be doing a pretty good job with the old tires. Back to the second and third place spot. Again, the battle continues between the 56 and 18 machines. The 18 making that low line work, but obviously losing momentum, trying to fall back in the line when he tries to pass them. These tires obviously are beat. They need to take them and get them changed as soon as they can. Again, with the chance to the inside, the 18 goes back up to the 8. Caution will be out right now.
Yes, we'll get that caution, that replay pulled up in just a second. This would be a timely caution for some people and untimely for others. It looks like the 011 of William Davis. He is coming off of the corner. He gets a little bit loose. This happened to me when I was in the final practice. With these tires, you get a lot of a rubber built up on these tires. Once they get loose, it's extremely hard to control. You try to correct and you try to overcorrect or prevent that, and that's exactly what happened to William Davis. He gets spun, and it looks like Nick Reynolds also got in the wall a little bit. Luckily, William Davis did not make any major contact. He's going to be able to continue to roll, and he's also going to be able to make his pit stop. And at this time, we are going to take our very last commercial break, fans. We're going to come back and take it all the way to the end of the race with Green Flag Racing. But fans, you are watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 200 live from Kansas Speedway on All Pro Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, old man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac and never feel powerless.
Smithley, driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
back, race fans. You're watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 200s. We're about to go back green. And for your viewing pleasure, thanks to Mike D'Amico with All Pro Broadcasting, we're going to do our famous Domino's TYJ Racing Crank It Up one more time. As they get one more lap here under caution, my bad. That'll give us a chance, Ray, to talk about the biggest movers up front.
Well, I can tell you right now, Robert, one of the things I did see was the 10 of Nick Reynolds actually was leading for a short bit under caution. What he ended up doing, I thought he pitted, but no, he drove straight through the pits, came back out, was able to lead a couple laps under caution. Not a bad move, went back in, made his pit just a short bit ago. Obviously, the 12 right now seems to have the best shot at it. He is on the point. Biggest mover up through, involved in a little bit of a spin earlier, but still came from the mid-pack all the way up to the front. Seems to make some room. No damage to the car. 4 fresh Goodyears on that. Another good move right now, the 56 of Josh Bonwell up front all night long. Still seems to have a great line, but has the challenge behind him, the 18 car of Jason Cardwell. Jason, again, a mid-pack mover towards the front. Seemed to be doing a great job with his line, saving his stuff as best as possible. Not sure exactly what's going on here, Robert. I happened to see that we had one to go, I thought. The pace car lights are still on. I think we're waiting for a couple guys actually to catch back up. It is a delayed green, at this point in time. I'm assuming that iRacing is putting that up for the reason of cars catching up coming out of the pits. We will say one thing about Domino's TYJ Racing League. There is no cautions done by the admins, no black flags cleared, nothing for waiver rounds. iRacing controls the entire race. Seems to be doing a good job of it tonight. Again, letting these guys catch back up. Going to the third spot of Buzz Moore in the 11 car, fourth spot as they cycle back around on my screen here. Pace car lights will be out. We'll be going green next time. The number 11 of Buzz Moore involved in 2 wrecks. I heard on the radio earlier. The exact quote was, "I can't catch a break." Unfortunately, it does happen to a lot of drivers. A couple guys get into a little beating and banging session, and, unfortunately, victim of circumstance at that point in time. Car looks a little bit beat up, still doing a great job of keeping it in the second row.
Yes, sir. Some other big movers real quick before we have our Crank It Up. Jason Cardwell, 27th up to 3rd. We've got George Hendricks, 34th up to 7th. And we also have, it looks like, James Ross, 32nd up to 5th. Ellery Queen, otherwise known as J Queen, from 33rd all the way up to 9th. So with this racing tonight, Ray, we've had some surprises. We've had some fast cars up front, but we've also got some big movers. So some of these guys have taken the advice of being patient, letting the track come to them, and looks like they're going to be rewarded with a good finish. The question now is, can they make it all the way on the fuel they have in the tank? They're going to have about right at 30 laps to go, I think they will. So fans, sit back and enjoy this Domino's TYJ Racing. Crank it up!
Green flag, green flag.
We've got caution on the speedway. Actually back right now, it looks to be the 55 of Ryan A. Hill and the 54 of Brandon Cruz. I'll explain that once we get the replay pulled up. We're looking right now at the 55 of Ryan A. Hill. One of the things I was listening to on the radio is a 54 says, "I need my lap back." 55 says, "I need it more." And unfortunately, we had the 43 up against the outside of the wall. At the same time, the 55 tried to take the position, thread the needle, not enough room, tapped the 43, just about caught 54, and down the hill he went. 55 of Ryan A. Hill, unfortunately, involved in this latest caution.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. It does look like the 43. He did make some radio communications apologizing. He got into the wall. And right then, the 55 and the 54 have been battling hard for that lucky dog position, which is normal. That's a good thing. We want to see that. Without the 43 of Doug Roth STP getting into the wall, I think everything would have been just fine. But unfortunately, once the 43 was in the wall, he lost his momentum. The 55 had nowhere to go. And that's exactly what happened.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I see as well. That 43 right now actually had the advantage of those guys. He's still on the lead lap in the 12th position. He'll take a pit right now, try to get that some of the damage fixed. At the same time, Brandon Cruz will go to the outside lines and take his lucky dog position to get back on the lead lap. That'll put 15 cars right now on the lead lap in a shot for this race. Going back to the 10 of Nick Reynolds, who was in 14th, took his pit a little bit late, but still stays on the lead lap.
Yeah, it looks like some cars did come down that time. The 97 of Jesse Abraham came down. Also, it looks like the 88 of Kyle Kammer came down. These guys are maybe getting a little bit more damage fixed. The 43 of Doug Roth came down. But they're also getting that extra splash of fuel in case we do go green to the end, and 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. It also looks like the 011 of Will Davis came down. He's running in 14th position. So these guys are probably making another strategy call, taking advantage of this untimely caution. And it might end up coming back to really help them have a great finish. What do you think about that strategy, Ray?
Absolutely. Good call, I think, on their part. I agree 110%, Robert, because these guys up front, of course, they've got fresh tires, but they're a couple laps old at this point in time. It'll take and get them to slide a little bit earlier, of course. It gives these guys in back a 3-lap advantage because of the fact that these guys have got 3 more laps on these tires. Keep in mind, within 6 laps, they seem to burn up pretty quick, so they're already halfway there in the front. They should be scuffing them just a little bit, obviously, to keep the marbles off them. William Roberts, of course, I believe right now, strategy call for him is going to take the outside of the front row again on this restart. Look, the new pace car lights are still on. I'm not sure where we're at 2 to go. Unfortunately, it doesn't show on my screen. But with that being said, with 133 laps in this race, we're on lap 107, which leaves only a handful left to go.
Yes, and it's going to be very interesting. The guys who pitted that last time, they're obviously able to save some fuel this time in the race. It's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be able to save enough fuel under these caution flag conditions. And it looks like the pace lights are still on the pace car here, so they're on the back stretch now.
Now we've got a couple guys, by the way, that took a wave around there, Robert. The number 88 of Kyle Kammer looks to be one of those cars with a lot of damage to it, decided to stay out. Again, I'm not sure exactly when he last pitted, but if he can make it to the end, he'll be able to finish on lead lap, at least the top 15.
Yes, and while we're talking about him, I just wanted to do one more Domino's driver profile. Kyle Kammer is in that number 88. He is from Indianapolis, Indiana. His team is Kammer Racing. His sponsors are Interstate Batteries and All Battery Center. Those battery centers are located in Sandusky, Ohio, and Concord, North Carolina. That's right up the road here, right down the road from Charlotte. And Kyle is one of our veteran drivers. Good to see him in the field tonight, having a pretty good run.
Yes, sir, Robert. Again, it looks like everybody's taking and stacking up double file restart. Right now, pace car lights are off. The field will go into turn 1. Obviously, that outside line has the advantage. The 12 will take the advantage as far as I can see. Now, the other thing is, like we said just before and discussed before, the leader has the chance to fire the minute the pace car pulls off. A lot of these times I see the leader jump out to 2 to 3 lengths before the other guys get momentum to catch them, and of course that gives them a heck of an advantage, especially going down to turn 2. Obviously William will take that advantage on the outside. We go down the back chute, everybody will stack them up into 3, and we'll go green here shortly.
Yes, sir, we've got some very talented drivers in the back of the field. The 55 of Ryan A. Hill, he actually pitted before that last caution came out. So he's actually did not get the lucky dog because he's involved in that actually most recent caution. He's in the back of the field, going to be trying to make as many positions as he can.
Yeah, the lucky dog was the 54 of Brandon Cruz, and actually he'll start just ahead of the cars that took the wave round of the 88 and the 011. Green flag will be out, pace car is off, and of course William Roberts takes the jump to the outside, will lead the pack at least by 3 to 4 car lengths back to the stripe. The battle behind him looks like to the 11 of Buzz Moore. And to the outside of him looks to the 14 of James Ross, the guy that was on the move that actually started second from last. They'll go door to door, almost tapping coming out of 2. Ross will have the advantage just by a hair, but Buzz fights back and got him by about half a car length.
Yes, very good battling up front. We do have side-by-side between the 11 of Buzzmore and James Ross. They're side-by-side. Looks like James Ross is going to have the advantage. Buzz had to get out of the gas there to keep from getting into him. They cross the start-finish line, and James Ross will have the advantage from that position.
I think that the damage on the 11, unfortunately, is rearing its ugly head right now. He's doing his best to take and keep that momentum up. As it looks to the low line, the 18 of Jason Cardwell will fall back in the line behind the 11. And actually looking behind them, there's a few battles going on. Obviously, they've only got 23 laps to go here. The 97 right now, Jesse Abrams behind him, trying to take over the 8th spot from Curtis Young in the 94. Curtis will keep it to the high side, but then come down in front of the 97 and bring the 43 of Doug Roth with him to the 10th position.
Yes, and right behind him we have hard charging number, 55 of Ryan A. Hill. He's got those 4 fresh Goodyear tires trying to go somewhere with them. He's made quite a few passes. He's on the outside of the 97, Jesse Abraham. Willie ducked low behind Nick Reynolds to get by him as Nick just barely kisses the wall, and that number 10, he's going to lose a little bit of momentum as the 55 will get by him.
As he showed earlier, the 55 knows how to manipulate this track. Does a great job of keeping the speed up. Right now, he's running for his lap back. He is in the 16th position, the first car 1 lap down. He's got to outrun the 51 of Ryan Matthews, who right now he's got at least 3 cars between him and the 51. Back up front, looks like William Roberts Jr. actually has one good lead to him right now. Half a second back to the 56 of Bonwell. Bonwell doing his best to take and try to save a little bit for the end. The 42 of Tanner Tellerico has made his way up from the restart to the 3rd position. Seems to be over just a second to the leader back, but again, 8 car lengths between second place separates him.
Yes, the cars look like they're pretty much single file here. Some guys might be trying to save their tires, have something for the end of this run. The William Roberts has definitely come on to be the class of the field here tonight. Like I said, he's been in quite a few races, but he's missed quite a few. I think he has been out of the country with military service. We do thank him for his military service. He has qualified 14th, leading this race by almost a second now. But Josh Bonwell, do not count him out. He knows exactly how to race this Kansas track. He won the Xfinity race a week ago, and he's going to figure some way to get close to William Roberts before this race is over, in my opinion.
Absolutely, no question about that. Robert Bonwell is doing a fantastic job holding that second place at bay. He's got just under 1 second lead to the 42 of Tellerico. It looks like James Ross looking to take that 3rd spot away from Tellerico. Still in line right now, looking to the low side though, real easy, falling back behind the 42 as they go through turn 2. Battle behind him, looks like the 18th of Jason Cardwell, looking to the low side of the 11, but falls back in the line. The 11 doing his best with that damaged car. The front end kind of beat up pretty bad, back end just a hair beat up. 18 a little bit sideways, but still gathers it back up, falls back in line behind the 11th with 2 spots back.
And behind them we have side by side, we have the 34 of George Hendricks, who is in 7th position. On the lead lap, the 55 of Ryan Hill gets clear of him. Obviously, Ryan Hill is 1 lap down in 16th. He's trying to get as far forward as he can, so he may be able to benefit from a lucky dog if that does come out again on a caution. And behind those 2 drivers, we've got a little bit more side by side. Looks like the 43 of Doug Roth is trying to get around the 10 of Nick Reynolds. Nick is using that low lane, which does have a lot of rubber built upon it. As we can see from the broadcast booth, the track is pretty dark there on the low lane, as well as the high lane. I'm not sure at this point in the race with all the rubber being put down. I'm assuming the high groove still has the advantage rate.
Yeah, I think the high grooves definitely has a lot more advantage, a lot more rubber up there, especially through the corners. But obviously, on that front stretch, the low line's the place to be. I will tell you now on the 51 of Ryan Matthews, just for a second, I don't think he's going to have to worry about being a lucky dog if the caution comes out the way Ryan A. Hill is passing these cars. It looks like Ryan's going to make his lap back all by himself if he keeps digging the way he is. Back up front for just a moment, we got the 12 of William Roberts Jr., who now has got a second lead off of the 56 of Josh Bonwell. Bonwell again holding his own, who has another second behind him back to the 42 of Tellerico. Tellerico getting challenged right now by 3 cars behind him. Looks to be the 14th of James Ross, still trying to take that low line away from him, but not been able to make it stick. Right now, lap 118, not too many to go here, obviously, left in this 133-lap race. You're watching right now the POWERTEK Power Solutions 200, and you're watching some exciting racing going on.
Yes, Ray, I agree with you completely. We did have some cautions up front as these drivers were learning this racing groove, what it would be like to be side by side. Obviously, in practice sessions, you do a lot of single car runs to get your car dialed in for qualifying. We didn't have a whole lot of side by side racing until the green flag of this race tonight at nearly 9 p.m. Eastern. But the drivers that are still on the track are battling hard, and we've been seeing some great strategy, some great racing, some great passes to be made on the low lane and the high lane. Some of these guys have done the, like you said, the crossover move 2 or 3 times to make a pass, and that gives us some really exciting racing.
They always say a good driver can drive a loose race car fast, and tonight is no exception. They've done a great job with this loose condition track. Everybody seems right now to get their groove on, and they're doing a great job trying to do their passing. 13 laps to go this time by the stripe. Keeping an eye right now on the 14 of James Ross. He's kind of lost a little bit on the 42 of Tanner Tellerico. Tellerico still staying the same line as everybody else. Buzz Moore still doing a great job behind the 14 of keeping that damaged car up in the top 5.
Yes, right now we got side-by-side battling between the 97 Jesse Abraham and Curtis Young in that 94. It looks like Jesse Abraham's going to try to make that move, although he's been trying it for 3 laps now. I've been watching this battle. And he is able to clear the 94 as Curtis makes the crossover, like you're talking about, going down the back stretch. The Curtis will duck back behind, although he's going to the low line here, the low groove, and Curtis is going to try the slide job. I don't think it's quite going to have the room. They touch, but they keep going straight. This is some of the greatest racing we've seen all night. Really good racing by these 2 drivers. And it gives Doug Roth in the 43 every advantage and opportunity to get right up to him. And Curtis wisely decides to back out of it and let these 2 drivers battle for the lead. And they might have touched their train a little bit of paint going through turn 3 and 4, it looks like.
Keep an eye on that 43. I see exactly what you're saying, Robert. That 43 just barely touched him. I will say right now with the 94 of Curtis Young, veteran driver, backing out of it, giving that position back from the touch that he had with the 97 of Jesse Abrams. Great racing for the 10th, 9th, 10th, and 11th spot.
And don't look now, but the 62 of Ellery, otherwise known as Jay Queen, making his debut in the Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf series here in the Cup car. He is up to 13th. He started all the way back in 33rd. He is having a good run tonight. He should be very proud of what he's doing.
Trying to get around that 54 machine of Brandon Cruz. He's doing a great job. A little bit of sliding by the 51, the left car down. Ryan Matthews goes the inside, keeps the green out. The 62 has the advantage on the 54. 54 lefts off a little bit, kisses the wall, causes a few sparks. Still able to keep the momentum underway. The 62 of Ellery Queen underneath them, taking away that 12th spot.
Yes, these tires are getting some wear on them. These tanks are getting a little bit low on fuel. It's going to be interesting to see if all these cars and drivers can make it to the checkered flag as we still have that side-by-side battle back here between Ellery Queen and looks like the 54 of Brandon Cruz. Brandon is going to complete that pass, and he's going to set his eyes on Curtis Young in that 94, who I still think has a little bit of damage from earlier in the race.
Yeah, I'm seeing that damage on the right front of the 94. Right now, Brandon Cruz making his way on that high line, again, preferred to be all night long. Ellery Queen tried to make the low line work, of course, slipped up just a bit, gave Brandon Cruz the advantage, obviously, to take the 12th position back to him. It is under it right now, 9 to go as the 54 kisses the wall, trying to make the pass on the 94 of Curtis Young. Curtis left a little bit of slide coming out of turn 2, makes the advantage for the 62 to the outside of Queen, takes the spot away from him, but back fighting again the 94 to the inside line. Not sure if he can hold it down there, doing his best to take and keep it away from the 62. 62 with the advantage on the outside line will keep the position.
Yeah, so get that one more gain of position to Ellery Queen. And back up front, while we were covering that, looks like we've got the battle and still stretched out pretty far. Josh Bonwell has not made up too much time on the 12 of William Roberts. It looks like the 42 of Tanner Talrico has actually taken pretty good care of his equipment. He does have a win in our series already this year, and he has proven to know how to take care of his tires for a run to the end, and he is definitely gaining on Josh Bonwell as we speak.
Seeing exactly what you're looking at now, 0.3 of a second, Robert separating second and third. 56 of Josh Bonwell still doing a good job, overdriving it just a hair coming off the corner. Not bad, a little bit of a skid, but it gave advantage to the 42 to make up a couple more spots. Right now in his tire tracks, half a car length back, now to 1 car length back, trying to make it to the low line into the second groove. Won't make it stick. Tries it to the low line on the apron like a lot of guys have tried all night long, keeping his foot in it, not able to make the pass just yet. Still gaining nice and easy, nice and slow. 5 laps it looks like to go at this point.
Yes, a little bit further behind them James Ross in that number 14 is in 4th position. He has got a mirror full of Buzz Moore at 11. Buzz is having a great rebound from earlier in the race. Like you mentioned, he was involved in 2 or 3 incidents, does have some damage. It is pretty amazing. He is definitely a talented wheelman to have that little bit of damage and still running in 5th position. He definitely has had no luck until the end of the race. So this is some more good racing.
Now looking at the 55, of course, he tried to attempt to get his lap back there. The only thing I would do if I was him right now, let him back off, keep the position that he's at. The reason being, if we were to have a caution right now, it's not built into iRacing to have a green-white checkered. So the minute 5 laps to go, the caution flies. Whatever position you're in, you are locked in till the end. It's the 55, obviously, doing that smart move, just kind of running in the line of the 11 of Buzz Moore and keeping his position for the 16th place at this point.
Yes, and back up front, there's not a lot of change in the way things are going. Looking for some battles a little bit further back in the field real quick. Before we get to the end of this race, it looks like the 51 of Ryan Matthews is able to get around Curtis Young.
51 being second car, 1 lap down. The only thing he can do to advance his position at this point is to catch the 55 of Ryan A. Hill, which is actually quite a ways ahead of him. Looking back up to the 2nd and 3rd place of the 56 and 42, Josh Bonwell and Tanner Tallarico. Tallarico trying every lap to make that low line work. 3 laps to go at this point. Unfortunately, I think the 42 has used up what he's got. 56 still going steady on that high side, looking at a very good 2nd place finish, doing a great job like he's done all night long. 2 seconds ahead of him, the leader, William Roberts Jr. Man on the move as he was earlier, has this track down tonight. I'll tell you, great driving by the 12 machine and the Toyota of William Roberts Jr.
Yes, William Roberts is definitely doing a great job. He is in that Z1 dashboard Toyota Camry. Like I said, he raced a couple races at the beginning of our season. I think he was overseas for military duty for the last couple of months. Somewhere, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I was very happy to see him in the race tonight, and he's definitely putting on what some people could call a clinic on this hot, slick Kansas track. It looks like as he crosses the start-finish line now, he will be on the last lap as the white flag does come out. So it is definitely William Roberts' race to lose. What do you see anything behind him?
Looking back, 2nd, 3rd place, of course, not a lot has changed. 5 car lengths separate those 2 positions. Back to the 14 machine of James Ross Jr. He is 4.5 seconds behind the leader, 2 seconds behind 3rd spot. And it seems like everybody in back is spreading out. The number 10 of Nick Reynolds to the inside of the 18. Jason Cardwell, I think, has used his stuff up. Trying to crossover move on the 10 as the 10 kisses the wall a little bit. Still able to keep the momentum. Looks like he'll take 7th place very easily here as all the cars come back to the stripe. The number 12 of William Roberts Jr. will be your winner this evening at Kansas.
Yes, very good for William Roberts Jr. Ray, if you will at this time go through the top 15-20 finishing order, I will try to get these guys up for the interview after race.
Absolutely, Robert. Great race tonight from Kansas. Starting from the 1st position, the man tonight to beat, William Roberts Jr. in a 12 machine, taking home the victory. And the 2nd position, great run again by the 56 of Josh Bonwell. Josh, fantastic run. Shout out to your mom tonight. I hope she's watching. 3rd position will be the 42 of Tanner Tallarico. Back to the 14th, James Ross in the 4th position. 5th will be the 11 of Buzz Moore. A little bit damaged, did a great job keeping it up on the front line as best he possibly could. Number 10, Nick Reynolds will take the 6th position tonight. The 7th position will go to 18 of Jason Cardwell. First time racing out here, great job on his first top 10. The 97 of Jesse Abrams, few near misses, will take the 8th position. 34 of George Hendricks in the 9th position. Ellery Queen, veteran of Domino's TYJ in the 62 machine, will round out your top 10. Doug Roth in the 43 got caught up, unfortunately, in a couple different events this evening. Damaged machine as well will take home the 11th position this evening. Brandon Cruz in the 54 machine came back for quite a while back. Lap down will take the 12th position. Curtis Young, my pick this evening, still did a fantastic job. Started 16th, got about 3 positions during the race. Will take the 13th position home in the 94 machine. Kyle Kamer in the 88 will take the 14th position home. 15th will be the William Davis machine in the 011. Ryan Hill, first car down, a lap down, will take the 16th position in the 55. Drove a great race this evening. Unfortunately, got caught in the pits under caution. 17th place will be Ryan Matthews in the 51. 19 machine of Tim B. Cox will be the 18th position. 19th, the 003 of Kyle Charpenter, and he'll round out the top 20 with the number 32 of Dustin Lee.
Thanks, Ray, for that rundown. It looks like at this point, we're going to bring in the second place finisher, the 56 of Josh Bonwell. Ray, if you were to give him a quick interview.
Absolutely. Josh Bonwell, our second place finisher this evening. Bud, tell us how you pulled it off.
Oh, a lot of hard work, man.
That's it. No strategies, no nothing, no tire. I mean, I heard the track was very slick this evening. How were you able to take and keep that line as many laps as you did?
Focus, dedication, just not overdriving it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you did a fantastic job, buddy. We talked about you most of the night there in the top 5. Did the great pit strategies, of course, most of the time taking 4 tires, if not every time. We do have one question. Is Mom watching this evening?
I believe so.
Good. Glad. We gave her a couple shout-outs this evening because you did a fantastic job up to the front. Josh, anybody this evening you'd like to thank for your finish in the second spot?
Thank my mom again. Thank you guys for putting the show on and giving me the opportunity to run.
Appreciate that. That's your second place finisher in the 56 machine of Josh Bonwell tonight.
Thank you, Ray. Now we're going to bring in our fourth place finisher, the third place finisher, Tanner Talrico. Had a great run. He's actually, because of the heat today, a little bit dehydrated. He's getting a little bit of medical care right now, so we're going to interview James Ross, who finished 4th.
An interview tonight.
And Ray, if you'll interview James.
Hey, how are you, fellas?
Hey, James, good evening. Great run this evening. Did a fantastic job staying in the top 5 all night long. Describe the last half of your race, bud.
Oh my goodness, the last half was the same as the whole race. It was hold on for dear life. Yeah, I was just happy. My goal at the beginning of this thing tonight, the way we were going, was a top 10, so we exceeded that.
Fantastic job tonight. Of course, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Josh. Tonight was a little bit slick. How did you hold on to that car for all those laps?
Ray, I don't know. I'll be real honest with you. I mean, you know what? I wrecked that thing 15 times tonight, but somehow only just brushed the wall and, was able to walk away. Got a couple of timely cautions when we needed repairs. But, yeah, it was fun to drive. I enjoyed driving it. But, yeah, I don't know how we held it together that long.
You know, I got to say this isn't a game show, but that was a great answer on your part, buddy. Is there anybody you'd like to thank this evening for your top 5 finish?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Got to thank all the guys over at Aegis, Andy and Dave tonight. They were both in my ear after Dave had his little mishap early in the race. Julio for putting that whole group together. He always does a great job. Of course, thank you guys with Domino's and the job you're doing and All Pro Broadcasting. We couldn't do what we do and what we love without you guys, so definitely appreciate that.
Our biggest move of the night started 32nd out of 33rd, didn't qualify, brought it home, 4th place, the 14 machine of James Ross.
And now we're bringing into the broadcast booth the winner of the race, the number 12, William Roberts. William, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing great, doing great. I said a couple of comments about you being in our league. You ran a couple of races, and then I think we missed you for a couple of races. I wasn't sure where you've been. Give us a quick history update, and we're definitely happy to see you back tonight in Victory Lane.
Yeah, I kind of missed a couple races. Martinsville, I was definitely skipping after the race I had, the previous one, where I was battling towards the front and ended up in an accident like with 5 to go. So kind of skipped over Martinsville and figured I'd come back this week, and lo and behold, we ended up winning one.
Congratulations! I tell you what, you definitely did a great job tonight. Looks like you started back in 14th. Were you able to get much practice time in the slick setup? And tell us honestly, do you like a slick track like we had tonight?
Yeah, I like a slicker track. This really wasn't slick per se, though. It was mostly just a creation of a push coming off the corner where it made the rear end get loose. So, I mean, as long as you didn't overdrive it and you didn't get too tight coming off the corner, it was pretty good. With about 20 to go, I was just chilling. As far as practice time, I didn't get a whole lot of practice time, but I mean, this track's pretty much it's the same thing over and over. It's repetitive.
Gotcha. Well, you definitely had your rhythm down pat, William. I said later in the broadcast, because you didn't come out of nowhere, but you didn't really make your presence known until a third of the way into the race, but you definitely in the last 2/3 of that race have put a clinic on these drivers. I'm sure a lot of them would like to find out your secrets and how you were able to do it. Who would you like to give thanks to tonight, William?
Toxic Media Solutions for the paint I have, although it hasn't been updated, so hopefully we get that done soon. My wife for letting me do this, you guys for hosting this thing, All Pro for broadcasting, and everybody in here that managed to finish the race for the good driving that they put on, especially Josh Bonwell. That was a lot of fun racing him side by side. So just all of them, and I had a great time.
Well, hey, we appreciate it, William. Congratulations. And just so the fans know, we did have Tommy Kearns from Indianapolis, Indiana, excuse me. He picked you to win the race tonight, so congratulations. You earned him a large 3-topping Domino's pizza. Good luck. Have fun over the weekend, and maybe we'll see you in the dirt tryout race Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern if you're interested in our new dirt series.
Well, that's definitely a possibility. I may jump in the sprint car and see what we got. And it's awesome to hear that somebody from Indianapolis got the pizza since I'm from Bristol, Indiana. So that's awesome.
Yes, sir. That is great. We have a lot of fans that tune in and watch these races. A lot of fans pick different drivers, and of course, some drivers got taken after the race. But congratulations, William. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
You too. Have a wonderful one, and it was great.
All right, Ray. What are your takeaways from the race tonight?
Absolutely fantastic racing. As I said once before, dirt on asphalt, a lot of slick tonight, makes for good racing, a lot of swapping positions, a lot of crossovers. And I'll tell you what, one of the best races I've seen from Top Shelf so far. Congratulations to the 12 of William. Fantastic racing. Everybody can learn a lesson here tonight on slick tracks for sure. How about yourself, Robert?
I definitely enjoyed the racing, and like you said, there was a lot of great battles. We did have some cautions, but there was a lot of clean racing, a lot of, like you said, the crossover moves, which is really, really entertaining. Right when you think somebody's got a pass completed, they've got to get out of the gas to keep from hitting the wall, and the car they just passed comes right back on them on the inside and makes a completed pass. So this was definitely a thrilling race. It was a great race to call. I want to thank you, Ray. It was awesome having you up in the booth. I want to also thank the fans for tuning in. I also want to thank Michael D'Amico with All Pro Broadcasting. He does an excellent job with the Crank It Up and all the camera angles. I also want to thank our sponsor one more time, POWERTEK Power Solutions from Richfield, Connecticut. Your one-stop shop for all emergency power needs. They are up there providing service for Fairfield County, Connecticut, Westchester, and Putnam counties in New York. Fans, thanks for being here. For Ray Richer, myself, as well as Michael D'Amico, we will see you we'll see you next Wednesday night for our Den Defender truck race. You guys have a great weekend.